we're approaching this little diner-esque restaurant. That's what it was, a long time ago. I'm not talking about current times. The only name that I remember it ever being at one time was Arthur's. Pardon me. Now it's obviously got new owners. It's sat empty for a bit, but funny memory, true Oshawa story. My cousin began his life of crime. That was his first break-in. He busted the window and or the door, and he went in and cooked himself a hamburger. And that was before he did a 20-year bid in the penitentiary. So that's a real Oshawa story for y'all. Anywho, this was my grandmother's store at 808 Simcoe Street South at one time. My uncle lived in the back as well as my aunt. There were 2 apartments. I also lived there from, I think, ages 2 to 4, something like that. Anyways, I always say I worked since I was 5 years old because I used to have to dust the shelves off and organize the cans and stuff like that. Backs out onto Oshawa Creek, which is really cool. Next door was at one time a pew-pew shop and fishing store, fishing supplies or whatever. And in the very back, they had like a farm. They had chickens. I think they had rabbits, and they would let me go over there all the time and get eggs and play with the chickens and things like that. And they gave me an egg, and I thought it would hatch if I kept it warm. I didn't know too much about biology. And yeah, that's not how any of that works. So I quickly found that out. But they're really good people to me. They treated me very well. Next coming up is the Cedardale United Church. It's no longer the Cedardale United Church, which is kind of sad. I went there every Sunday with my grandmother, attended Sunday school and, all the events. And this was actually, there was a log building on here that was actually acted as the Cedardale, Village of Cedardale schoolhouse. And then later the church was built and the schoolhouse was inside the church. And apparently, I didn't know this, but along the baseboards and crown molding, I guess, there's writings from previous students. I guess maybe they carved their names or some sort of messages into the wood. I never knew about that, sorry, until I read about it online. So I would like to see that one day. That's very interesting to me. So we're continuing walking south on Simcoe Street, and yeah, I was just giving a little bit of history. That was the first school and the first church in Cedardale, the village of Cedardale, which would later become a part of Oshawa.